Welcome back to the Habit Based Lifestyle and Business Show. Today, we're going to be talking about the 4 simple steps to create effective content for social media. So, I want to welcome you guys to this training. My name is Jesse Ewell, and one of the things that I do is I specialize in helping chiropractors, health professionals, and coaches attract better qualified leads, better qualified patients without relying on traditional marketing methods such as Facebook ads, discounting services, or using, using a lot of these old school kind of methods with our results based marketing system. So, really, today's focus is going to be all about exploring 4 effective ways to create engaging and converting social media content specifically for Facebook. The reason why I work on Facebook is because I see a much better result. About 80% of our clients are all on Facebook. We've obviously tested some of the other platforms. Some people may do better on, some of those other platforms, but what I've found to work really well for our clients specifically in our program and the system we're running is for this to be done primarily on Facebook. So let's talk about this really quick. So number one, the number one way that we create better content is simply understanding our topics. So think about it this way. So it's really about understanding your audience. So a big part of this is really um, is most people think, social media is all about just putting out content. But here's the thing that I've came to find, and I want to kind of share my screen and make this a little more interactive for you. But I want you to kind of think about it this way. As we get into this training, there's going to be 4 specific things we're going to be talking about. Okay. Number one is going to be topic. And there's some specific things in topic. Like, first, you need to understand who your ideal patients or ideal clients are. Okay. And the reason why we need to do that is because we want to talk specifically to the needs and interests of our ideal clients rather than other people in our industry. So here's kind of what I see in the health profession, health space. You're trying to attract your ideal client, but you're speaking your industry language, not your actual client language. And so understanding this is, what language are you speaking? There's client language, and then there's industry language. And one of the common things in marketing is we're speaking the wrong language to our clients, hoping that we attract them, but yet we never actually connect with them. And one of the ways that you can begin to connect with your clients is you got to speak the language of your clients. Okay. So kind of think of it this way. If I'm from Mexico, I speak Spanish. The way I connect with Spanish people is I got to speak Spanish to them. Well, if I'm from America, most likely I'm speaking American. Now, if I'm from different cities, I speak maybe a different language based off the city. Like, you guys will hear more accents from people, New York, East Coast, than you will West Coast. The big difference is we speak our language to our ideal client. We don't speak the industry because then we're just talking to other people. And that's one of the biggest things I'd say. The other thing is this: what are the hot topics in your industry? Okay. How do we know what those hot topics are? Well, I'm going to give you a few examples. So if I was doing weight loss, some of the hot topics would be nutrition, exercise, hormone balance, mindset. You have all these things now, which, are peptides. So, like, what are the hot topics? And are you leading with those and talking about those? Because those are the things that are going to get people to pay attention. What are all the things that go into weight loss? Nutrition, exercise, habits, mindset. all of those things begin to go into somebody getting results. And so let's just talk about chiropractic. So, pain is a big topic, different types of pain, whether it be back pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, knee pain, all these things, nervous system, uh, mobility work, stretching, sleep, all these things go into chiropractic. And I have to lead with those topics if I want to relate to my clients. The other thing is this, maybe I'm a coach. So, what are the topics? If I'm a business coach, maybe I'm talking a little bit more about sales, marketing, systems. If I'm a lead generation coach, I'm talking about marketing. I'm talking about the difference in types of marketing that you can do. I'm talking about different ways you can attract your ideal customer, offers, and just different things like that. But this gives you an idea of like, hey, am I actually speaking to the current events? Am I speaking to the interests and the hot topics of my audience and of my industry, or am I completely missing the bar? Okay. Now, step two in this is going to be content. Okay. Most people think posting content is effective marketing, but here's what I'm going to say. Um, Consistency in content is really the buy-in. So it is the buy-in to the marketing. So yes, you need to be consistent with posting content, but it still needs to be beyond that. Like posting content is just your buy-in, but there's a difference between posting content and engaging in effective marketing. Okay. So some of the best practices in content that leads to conversations with potential clients is your content relevant to your audience, which means do people actually pay attention to your content? Okay. Because I know a lot of people that seem to think, well, hey, I thought posting content was marketing. Uh, it's a part of it, but it's not the only part of it. In fact, in our program, posting content is only about 20 to 25% of the results that you're going to get. Now, marketing is turning your content into customers. Okay. It's taking people through a process of once you post content, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of some ideas on content also, but like it's about taking people from your content into becoming a customer. I'm going to work through this a little bit more, but what are some content things I can do? You guys all know we have reels, we have live videos. These are more video based content. We have more story based, or let's just say transformation based. This would maybe be a story of a client. Okay. This is usually like a long copy. This would be more video based. And then we also have, um, we also have things where we ask questions or maybe we do quotes. Um, and these are usually things kind of on like a colored backdrop. Okay. So here's kind of like 3 to 6 variations of content you can use. The goal is every content we put out, it's there to test what works and what doesn't. Okay. Most people get caught up in this. Nobody responded to my content, so I should just stop posting. It's not that they're not responding, it's that your stuff may not be relevant to your audience, and that's why they're not engaging in it. There's some other factors which you're going to learn about, but reels and lives, reels are 90 seconds. They're kind of like the quick tip. Lives are maybe a little bit longer, a little more entertaining. Stories are maybe like, what's a personal story about you while you're doing what you're doing? The other one could be a transformation post about a client. And I show a picture of like, hey, here's what they were doing before. Here's what they look like now. But it kind of is more relevant to almost a story about a client. Questions and quotes gets people to make it simpler for them to engage. And so is your content engagement worthy, which we're going to talk about in a minute, but your content has to have the right topics. It has to be something that your clients will relate to. It also has to be relevant to your audience. Okay. And then the third piece is that you need to have it be engagement worthy. Okay. Engagement worthy, I like to think is sort of like Simon says. Simon said, he doesn't say, hey, like, comment, and share all at once. He typically would say, hey, comment below. But here's the thing: every type of engagement is good. Likes, comments, and share. Your content either needs to explain what you want someone to do with it, or it should just make it really simple. They don't even have to think about it. But there's always ways that we can get more people to like, get more people to comment. An easy way is ask questions, because it makes it easier for people to engage in your content. Okay. How do you use call to actions? Like, hey, if you need help with this, if you need help with XYZ, if you need help with losing weight, simply just comment, weight in the comments and I'll reach out to you. Okay. If we try to do too many calls to action at once, people get overwhelmed. If they get overwhelmed, they don't do anything. These are some of the biggest things that I see when it comes to content. Is people will say things like, hey, DM me if you're interested. And I'm going to be honest with you, nobody DMs you anymore if they're interested. Even if they're looking at your content, they're just not going to do it. Stop saying DM me if you're interested, because it just doesn't work and you can't track that. If you just simply said, hey, comment XYZ if you're interested in losing weight, comment XYZ if you're looking to get out of pain, that's a direct call to action. And that gets somebody to take action, and you've just made it simple. Okay. And so when we play the game, Simon Says, we use one thing at a time. We don't use all of them. Okay. So we want to make it simple for them. Okay. So those are engagement hacks that can get you more engagement and get your content seen by more people. Now, understand this, that if I have more people like my content, if I have more people engage in my content, Facebook recognizes that as something relevant for the rest of my audience to see it. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but most people's audience is very limited based off of how active their users are. The average percentage of people who see your content are typically between 1 and 5% of your total audience actually sees your content. If it's relevant, you'll be more in the 10 to 30%. And if you're really good at it, then anything over 40% of your audience that's active, that's considered great. And so the average people, let's just say you had 1,000 friends, that means that 1% is like 10 people see that. If 5%, that means like 50 people see that. The only way to get it beyond that and have more active people is to get more engagement on your actual content. Okay. Number 4 is conversion. Okay. So as we're walking through this, like, topic is really important. Content is really important. Like, what specific types of content should I post on the topics? Okay. Is it engagement worthy? Asking yourself, okay, is my content actually engagement worthy? Here's an easy way to think of it. Watch what people are doing. Are they liking it? Are they commenting? Are they doing one or the other? Is it shareable? Those are all different types of ways to get engagement. Are you actually paying attention to that? Okay. So let's talk about conversion. So we want to discuss how we convert content engagement into conversation. So convert content into conversations. Okay. The name of the game today is, how can I take people from my content into conversations? Because if you don't know how to do that, if you can't do that, then you're never going to get a lead, and your content is never going to turn into a customer. Okay. So the skills that you need to effectively guide your clients from a piece of content into a private conversation, there's a whole skill in that in itself. Um, but here's some things that you want to be able to do is really share case studies. You want to share different ways that you've helped people do that. And so what we do is we walk people through a process of conversion. Okay. So really beginning with the end in mind. Okay. So think about it this way. Before I post something, imagine if the end result was to become a customer. How would I begin to reverse engineer my content? What topic would I have to pick? And then how would I get engagement to do that? Now, think about it this way. We're beginning with the end in mind of where we want them to go, what we want them to do. Now we're setting up our content from there. And I've seen that, hey, if you know this process and you've actually done it, your conversion is actually going to happen. That client is going to turn into a client consultation. That client or potential lead is going to turn into a customer because you've actually began with the end in mind versus most people think about what they're going to post about 30 to 90 seconds before they actually do it. And then they wonder why it's not effective. And so this is really the most effective way, these 4 steps to create content for social media. It's going to get more people, more viewers to look at your content versus just posting content. The other thing is this: understanding how to take people from content to conversion. We can do a whole separate training on that, but I'm getting you to think about it's not just putting out a piece of content. If you thought about your content for 30 seconds and you put it out there, then how good do you really think that's going to convert people? So when you're doing this, there's a bigger strategy involved. Uh, it doesn't take as much work as you think, but these are really your 4 simple steps to create content that actually converts. Okay. And converts means becomes customers. Okay. So I want to thank you guys so much for being on here today. Hopefully you found this video to be helpful. I'd love for you to subscribe, not only to our YouTube channel, but also if you're not a part of our Facebook community, I'd love for you to get on that. If you're part of our podcast, thank you so much for being a part of this. Also, if you guys are watching this and you're in the Facebook group and you want more information on how we actually help people convert content into customers, just simply comment convert, CONVERT, in the comments. I'll personally reach out to you. But go ahead and check our resources. We're showing up here every single week. Thank you guys so much for being on here, and I'll see you soon.